As a self-proclaimed extreme extrovert, I don't do anything alone. Now, as a single mom, this was quite a challenge, especially as my kids got older and developed their own lives outside of the four walls of our home. Filling my life with events, people, adventures was great. As great as it is, I have had to learn the art of developing deep, lasting biblical friendships. Hello, marvelous moms. Have you ever wondered what friendship truly means to you? As busy Christian moms, we often get caught up in our hectic lives. But today, I want to talk about the importance of developing lasting friendships grounded in biblical principles. Let me share a bit of my journey. My friendships with Rhonda and Leslie started at church and deepened over time. They had lifelong friends from childhood or college, and I had none. Conversations about friendships that had lasted a lifetime opened up my own soul to its emptiness. As a young mom, fairly new to Christianity, I began to realize I didn't have true friendships. And I wondered, do I even understand what friendship really is? I was kind of shaken. I was disturbed, and I started to ask myself a lot of questions. Deep feelings of loneliness are often a part of our spiritual and emotional journey into maturity, but it's not easy and we don't like it. Those conversations with Rhonda and Leslie began to make me aware of my own sense of loneliness. Loneliness is an ache. It can be detrimental to us emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and even physically. Feeling lonely in different seasons of life can serve as an invitation into awareness, like it was for me. But it is the ongoing feeling that can lead to lifelong emotional and physical ramifications. Now, Mom, perhaps in the midst of your crazy, busy life, you too feel that tinge of loneliness. Maybe you've felt it for years. Marriage, kids, activity, even a glass or two of wine at the end of a day hasn't removed that ever increasing awareness that something is just not right in your soul. Our nation is at an all-time high in this loneliness epidemic, and that's what I'm calling it. Authentic friendships can help us dig our way out of this dark, deep pit, or keep us from even going there. Perhaps you've felt this ache of loneliness over different seasons of life. Perhaps now you are in a season where you are feeling that pit of loneliness and you're trying to find your way out. And perhaps, my beloved friend, these pangs of loneliness are simply an invitation to friendship with Jesus. Okay, Mama, total transparency here. Jesus' invitation into friendship did not sound very appealing to me. You see, I wanted somebody with skin on. I wanted a friend that I could see, feel, and touch. And the reality is, I did have those friends in my life, and Jesus would continue to provide it. But there was a sense of counting the costs to truly understand what biblical intimacy and biblical friendship was all about. I had to be willing to forsake all else, to lay it down, to follow Jesus in this place and space of friendship. So I want to acknowledge if it feels a little scary, you're right where you need to be. My experience with loneliness didn't stop in my early 30s. Oh no. Loneliness visited me time and time again over the years. The year I turned 50, I experienced a great chasm of loneliness. I was dealing with some physical pain that had me pretty much bedridden. Although I'd built a thriving nonprofit, I was mentoring countless women and had a somewhat active social life. I was alone and lonely. I sat in the chair of my bedroom, closed my eyes, and I saw this vast, dry, desolate desert before me. I sensed that the Lord was inviting me into this wasteland. Really, I just wanted to run the other way. But I had had enough experience following Jesus. I knew he would be faithful. I decided to embrace loneliness and find him in that desert of my soul. I want to pause, ask you a question. When is the best time to plant a tree? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and today. What 50-year-old lonely Misty realized when she said yes to the invitation of the Lord was that God had planted a tree. And I want to be so bold as to say God had planted an orchard almost 20 years earlier. That friendship with Leslie and Rhonda, those conversations opened up my soul to receive the planting of the Lord. God had been at work in the deep places of my heart. He had been teaching me how to be a friend. He'd been showing me what authentic biblical friendship was, and most importantly, who He was as my friend. I'm Misty Hughes, seasoned mom mentor, women's transformational life coach, and author of the 30-day Transformational Gratitude Journal, which you'll receive free when you join my 6-week group coaching cohort called the Transform Mom. There's a link in the show notes where you can learn more. Beloved, I'm on a mission to work alongside God in building healthy, happy families by sitting with women like you and unpacking the suitcases of your soul. Today, we'll explore biblical friendships. I'll share some nuggets of gold from my own heart in hopes that you too will find your friendship oasis. If you find yourself lonely, running from loneliness, or aching for deep friendships, you're in the right place. Remember, the biggest life lesson I want to incorporate into mom-to-mom mentoring is simplicity. So here on Mom-to-Mom Mentoring, my goal as your mom mentor is to keep it simple. On each episode, we're going to focus on one thing. Yep, just one thing. An idea, a strategy, or tool to help you become the best version of you. And today's one thing is all about God's desire to be your friend, and through Him, how you can discover and cultivate true, authentic friendships. We're going to unpack just some practical tips for building and maintaining these meaningful friendships, especially for busy Christian women like you. Are you ready? Let's dive in. How many friends do you have on Facebook? How about Instagram or TikTok? Unfortunately, these pseudo connections have only contributed to the dark plague of loneliness. It really is literally killing people before their time. The reality of loneliness is more hazardous to your health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day or drinking 6 alcoholic drinks a day. It is affecting your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Studies have shown that people who use social media for more than 2 hours a day are twice as likely to feel socially isolated as those who use social media less than 30 minutes a day. A 2022 study found that when people were asked how close they felt to others emotionally, only 39% of adults in the U.S. said that they felt very connected to others. Recent surveys have found that approximately half of U.S. adults report experiencing extreme loneliness. What does friendship look like? What does the Bible teach us about friendship? I discovered that Jesus addresses this question in His life here on earth. If I wanted to understand friendship, maybe I needed to start with friendship with Jesus. After all, there's such simplicity in that text that reads, "Seek me, and all these things will be added." If I wanted true, lasting friendships, I decided to seek understanding through Him and the Word first. My good Father was at work planting seeds that would yield a harvest without me even realizing what was happening as I sought Him first. The most amazing thing that I discovered was that the Almighty, all-powerful God doesn't just want to be our Heavenly Father, provider, protector, deliverer. Our King wants to be my friend and yours. Jesus tells us in John 15:13, "Greater love has no one than this, that He lay down His life for His friends." Jesus displays friendship by the fact that He laid down His life for us. He shows us the way to authentic friendship by showing us the greatest expression of that love of a friend. What attributes of God can you begin to explore as you begin to wonder about biblical friendships? God is waiting to scatter the seeds of authentic biblical friendship in your heart as well. I learned during that season that there is a vast difference between how the world views friendship and how God views it. It is important that as Christians, you and I have a biblically founded view of friendships. What characteristics make up authentic biblical friendship? I'm sure many things come to mind as I present this question. Maybe it's about someone who listens to you, someone who will be there, someone who doesn't gossip about what you tell them, someone who will pray for you and with you, someone who will speak the truth in love. But true biblical friendship involves more than receiving. It is about giving. Friendship, in God's eyes, is outwardly focused and about service or giving to others. And Jesus shows us the way to authentic friendships by showing us the greatest expression of love. Personally, I feel I've arrived at true biblical intimate friendship when someone invites me into their pain. I understood true intimate friendship when Jesus invited me into his pain. It was a dark time in my life, and he asked me to sit with him in his sorrow, showing me that friendship is about being trusted with someone else's pain. My friendship with him had been pretty self-focused. I needed him in this dark, desperate season of life. I knew he was the comforter, the counselor, he was wisdom, protector, father, and so much more. And I desperately needed all of those in my life. I wasn't considering friendship at this time. I was just considering I need Jesus. One night, in the midst of the grief and darkness, feeling deep anguish, my heart literally broken, shattered, crushed, and beyond repair, I heard a whisper. It wasn't a literal whisper, but in my heart, I sensed the presence of Jesus in his voice. He said, "This is how I feel when those that I love, those that I died to save, betray, reject, and abandon me. Come sit with me in the crushing of my soul. Watch, pray, and cry with me." Oh my gosh, even now I feel the heart of Jesus. Jesus wants a friend. He wants a friend that is willing to feel the pain and sorrow that he feels. It's not just about me and what I can get. It's about the desire for intimacy that he has. Jesus wants to share the love of the Father with us, but not just those happy, bubbly emotions. He wants to draw us into the sorrow and suffering that he feels. That is friendship. When facing a crisis, most of us want moral support from others. And Jesus was no different. He says to his friends, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." And he invites them, "Stay here and keep watch." Even Jesus calls on his dearest friends, the people closest to him, for help right before the ultimate sacrifice he would make, dying on the cross, laying down his life for his friends. He never asked them to take away his pain. You see, true friendship is when someone is able to trust you with their pain, not in order to fix it. Friendship invites into sorrow. As I've been working on this podcast, I received a text from a beloved sister. It said, "My heart hurts. I feel the ache. My heart hurts too. I want to share in the sorrow with her. I can't fix it, but I can watch and wait with her." And that's what I'm honored to be considered worthy to share in her pain. I know she will find her way out, but I'm not demanding her to do so. And I don't get weary of her sorrow. I consider it an honor to have the opportunity to walk out Philippians 2:4 with my friend. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also the interests of others. And 1 Thessalonians 5:11, encourage one another and build each other up. In the eyes of God, friendship is outwardly focused. God desires to be your friend. And through this pursuit of friendship with him, he will plant seeds in you that will lead you to discover and cultivate true, lasting friendships. If you're the kind of woman that needs a little more instruction, Here are a few action items that you can incorporate that will open your heart to receive the planting of the Lord. First, consider a little one-on-one time with your friend Jesus, not to receive comfort from him in your sorrow, but to share in his sorrow. How can you love Jesus in this way? Just clear away time for a coffee date with Jesus and ask him. He's looking for friends to watch and wait with him. You can also consider reaching out to one person in your life this week. Make an intentional effort to connect deeply, whether it's through a heartfelt conversation, offering some practical help, or simply just spending quality time together. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to remind you that you are not alone in this journey. The ache of loneliness can feel overwhelming, but God desires to be your friend and to help you cultivate meaningful, lasting relationships. You've got the power to start receiving those seeds right now. God is the master gardener. He plants the seeds. We simply open our hearts to receive them. If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to transform your life, I invite you to join the waitlist for my next 6-week Transformed Mom cohort. This is a special opportunity for you to connect with other like-minded women who are also on this journey to build healthy, happy families and discover the true beauty of biblical friendships. I limit each cohort to just 6 women so that we have plenty of time to tend to each other's hearts and journeys of transformation. In the Transform Mom cohort, we will unpack the suitcases of your soul together. We'll explore and replace the burdens you carry with love, support, and the truth that God has for you. It's a safe place to grow, learn, and develop the authentic friendships your heart longs for. Don't let loneliness linger any longer. Take this step toward a more fulfilling, connected, and joyful life. Click the link in the show notes and get on the wait list and be the first to know when we open the doors for the next cohort. And by the way, those on the wait list will automatically save 20% on the registration. Mama, let's walk this journey together and embrace the friendships God has in store for you. Remember, you are loved, seen, and valued. Until next time, keep your heart open to the planting of the Lord. Trust that God is working in the deep places of your heart.